One of the current pandemics modern humans are in is overthinking. Can you relate to overthinking? Let me give you some time to think about. No. Overthinking is such a human experience. We can all relate to it. We all know what it feels like. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 powerful responses to our overthinking tendencies. So definitely stick around. Consider that a thought that you think is actually designed for action. Think of a thought like a seed or an acorn whose intention is to bloom into fuller expression. So a thought is the foundation for action. So when we say we're overthinking, essentially what we're saying is I'm thinking irrelevant thoughts. I'm thinking thoughts that do not translate into my progress. Remember, nature is always progressing. The theme of change is the wheel of evolution. That's what's always taking place. So nature intends to use elements that really support that continued progressive trajectory. So when we overthink, we're engaging in thoughts that are not in highest alignment with that evolutionary flow. So let's talk about 5 powerful responses to this noise, this extra noise that takes up room. It's not paying rent, but it's taking up room in our inner space, and we get to really reclaim and tend to our inner environment, because that's the foundation for everything we're creating and experiencing in our lives. So, number 1, be with it. And I don't mean you're focusing on the overthinking. Number 1 is engaging in practices that create the space and the alignment for you to build a healthy relationship with your thoughts. The Holy Trinity are meditation, breathwork, and yoga. These daily practices and practices like these will go a long way in calming your nervous system, pacifying your mind, releasing stress from your body, and really supporting an inner spaciousness around the thoughts that come up. So there's less attachment, there's less identification. You're able to hold these thoughts at a greater distance and sense that who you are is separate from this ever-changing flow of thoughts that just come and go. They appear and they disappear. They appear and they disappear. Who you are, who I am, is something deeper, more stable, and more constant than the ever-changing flow of thoughts. Meditation, breathwork, and yoga ground us into these practices which connect us to a deeper aspect of ourselves. So number 1 is to be with it through your daily practices. Journaling, power poses, taking a walk. There's lots of different ways in which you can bring a powerful and healthy relationship mindset to all of this overthinking. So being with it is number 1. Number 2 is to take action. My mom has a saying that has become locally famous, and it's action replaces worry, or action replaces overthinking in this case. So in the first one, we're facing it, we're being with it, and we're letting it kind of process. And in this second strategy here, we're transcending it. We're going beyond what the thoughts are and what they're proposing. So number 2 is to Move through the thought with action. Take action in spite of the thinking. So this is going to ask you to move from your head space down into your heart space. It's going to ask you to tap into your inner qualities of clarity and courage and leadership, perhaps leadership to yourself. And you make that decision to take action in spite of all the thinking. And you know that when you do take that action, you're getting valuable feedback. And at that point, you can course correct, take new action, receive more feedback, and continue forth. If you don't move, for number 2, if you don't move, you're oftentimes going to be sitting with analysis paralysis. There's going to be a stagnation as the mind continues to whirl. So strategy 2 asks us to what Sanskrit calls nivartatvam. Nivartatvam. That's Sanskrit for go where you are not. So if you find yourself in overthinking, transcend that state and go where you are not. Dive into action. Leap into something else. Leave the space that you're in through decisive, bold action. That's number 2. Number 3 is a mindfulness tool that I've mentioned in a previous video, but this was a great one for overthinking, and that is to notice, shift, become. So in that moment that you notice you're overthinking, take a moment and connect to the awareness, the presence of the overthinking that's happening. So in that moment, you create a distinction between yourself, your presence, and your mind's activity. When we go through life unconsciously, we identify with the thoughts that we're thinking. We get lost in a sea of thoughts like quicksand, and we completely lose ourself, our own sense of presence, the eye of the hurricane. So in this practice, for number 3, you notice when you're overthinking. So there's that recognition, and then you shift to your desired focus or your desired activity, and then you become, which means you fully engage. So notice the overthinking, not in judgment or criticism, as a practice of self-awareness, self-observation, just watching yourself. You notice the overthinking, you shift into your desired new point of focus. What do you intend on creating in this next moment? And become that next moment. In other words, you're depriving the overthinking of energy and attention. You're saying, oh, I've become aware that I've been putting these thoughts on a pedestal. I've been focusing on this overthinking. So I'm noticing that I am shifting into my desired focus, and then I'm fully immersing myself in that new point of focus. Notice, shift, become. Number 4, sit in the question of how can you simplify your life? Our environment is a reflection of our mind, and our minds are a reflection of our environment. So how can you simplify, organize, and clean your personal space such that it becomes more and more a reflection of how you'd like to experience your mind? Is your personal space a reflection of your desired experience of your inner world? If not, number 4 invites us to transform our environment such that it has a particular effect on our minds. Our environment and our consciousness are always kind of dancing together. One is perpetually affecting the other. So focus on having your environment be a reflection of how you'd like your mind to be, and watch how that begins to influence your mental state. It's a feedback loop, because once you change your environment and then change your mind, that once again circles back around to changing your environment, which then comes back up to change your mind. It's a beautiful feedback loop. Number 5, the body. When we think about overthinking, oftentimes we neglect talking about the body. What we know about the mind-body connection is that they're intimately connected. The mind and the body are perpetually reflecting each other, both chemically as well as behaviorally. They're working in tandem, they're mirrors. So what an overactive mind indicates is a stressed body. A body that is a bit out of whack is going to have reflection and activity expressed in our psyche. As we start to release stress, as we start to take better care of our bodies, as we start to make new choices surrounding nutrition, exercise, mindfulness, and relationships, just those four, not a big deal. But as we start to make new life choices surrounding how we're treating our body, we're going to see that start to directly impact the state of our mind and the amount of irrelevant thinking. Think about it. If you're treating your body like crap, if you're not getting good sleep, if you're putting junk food in it, if you're around toxic people, if you're never exercising, your mind is going to be a reflection of that state. So how you treat your body is also how you treat your mind. It's not possible for you to do something to your body independent of your mind. They're always reflecting. So if you want to pacify your mind's activity, number 5 asks us to pacify the body. Look for ways to soothe your nervous system, to relax your mind, to move into your heart space. Again, meditation, breath work, and yoga go a long way in supporting us with this. I really hope and trust that these 5 strategies for overthinking were supportive for you. I very much appreciate your time, energy, and attention. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I will talk to you so soon. Mwah.